Boa tarde, Senor Christian.
What's going on, Mitch? How you doing, man?
We survived, man.
Barely. By the skin of our teeth. man.
Jesus.
We
Jesus.
slipped at the end there, man.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tudo Tuga Everything Portuguese Soccer Podcast. I am Mitch Freud.
I'm Christian Ferrer.
All right, guys, it's been a long time coming. We finally made game one of Portugal, Ghana, at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar.
Mitch, man, you sound depressed, man.
Buddy, it's my voice. Honestly, it's my voice. I have no voice. I screamed so much today.
Yeah.
I literally was. I don't think there was a period of more than 60 seconds that I was not screaming at the TV today.
At one point, you were saying that Portugal's giving you a heart attack, man.
I swear to God, this lesson is shaving years off my life, man.
Oh, my God.
Years.
Okay.
So, to that point.
Let's dive into it, man.
To that point. Espera aí, porque it's been one of those.
Yeah, pour me a drink.
It's been one of those.
Thank you, buddy. With the Henny. Okay, let's go.
Cidadão. Toma lá.
Your hand make an appearance, man?
Pronto.
There it is. Oh, there it is.
Já temos o
Welcome to the
cheirinho.
podcast.
Já temos o cheirinho. We're ready to
Okay,
rock
cheers,
and roll.
guys.
Hey,
First win.
boys, the first win,
Cheers, guys.
but foi sofrido.
Foi mesmo sofrido.
As usual, we don't do it easy. Christian, I'm going to open the floor to you, buddy. Your thoughts on the game today.
You know what? There's a lot to break down, but I'm going to start off with this. William Carvalho, captain? Captain.
You're going to start there?
Not
You're going to start there?
just on the field. Captain.
He didn't start, so I mean, at least he didn't start.
Also, when have you ever fucking seen a team play the lowest ranked team in the tournament with?
Are they the lowest ranked? I thought Qatar. I thought
they were
Qatar was
61st.
the lowest ranked in the tournament. We could fact check that.
Well,
but
we'll fact check that after. They're 61st in the world unless it's updated since.
one of the lowest ranked
One
for
of the
sure.
lowest ranks for sure. And we played with three, not one, not two, but three trincos, which is CDM positions. I was in shock, man.
But again, to be fair, he didn't start with three
We
drinks.
started with two trincos. Well, one's more makeshift.
Well, what Daniel was
Yeah.
center back. But
Yeah, and then you have Ruben Dash. Anyways, we ended the game with fucking three trincos, okay? But anyways, without jumping around too much, the game in itself. The game in itself, I don't know what you thought. I don't know what you guys thought. Maybe leave a comment in the comment section. I felt we were too lethargic, man.
Qatar's 125th. So they're
125th.
definitely the worst.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Thank you for what's it called? I thought there was no urgency. We were passing the ball around. We're making a C along the back. There was no pressure. There was no nothing. We were just, there was times, and this frustrates me, man. There was times we're in their end. Okay? They're walking with the ball. Walking. 2 steps, bring it back. Just so nonchalant. Watching that Canada game, Belgium game, Canada's obviously a lower ranked team than Portugal. You seen them play, there was fucking energy, direction, will. There was all kinds of motivation. There was so much more. There was so much more spirit there. With Portugal, man, it was like, do they not realize they're in the fucking World Cup? They're just fucking there chilling, nonchalant, back and forth.
Sorry to interrupt you again. You were right, actually. No, what I was looking at was wrong. Qatar is ranked 50. Ghana is the lowest ranked team at the World Cup.
Thank you. Yeah, I did check that.
Sorry, buddy.
But anyways, without getting too off topic, but they were just looking lethargic, no urgency. Yes, we had possession. We had 70% of the ball. But there was times, man, we'd go into their half. We would stop, bring it back to Danilo, bring it back to the goalie. Just so calm, just so like no urgency, no nothing, no energy. And I don't know what you think, Mitch. I think that shows a lot of what the tactics were. It shows a lot of what Again, you can't blame the coaching completely, but that stuff was talked about in pregame.
You think it was Fernando Santos?
Well, man, if you look at other coaches, like I'll give you an example: the Saudi Arabia game with Argentina. Have you been seeing the videos been going viral with the Saudi Arabia coach?
Yep.
Again, I'm not saying that Fernando Santos is old. He's like,
Mhm.
want to give the guy a heart attack. But
Mhm.
the Saudi Arabia coach is instilling energy, will, hard work. You have to put in the work. Every
Even
avenue of
Canada's
that
coach,
team
man. Look at
was accounted for. Every player, if he would be looking at footage, if you were out of position in that spot, he'd be ripping into you. I guess what I'm trying to say is they were up for it. They give energy. They give accountability, and I did not see that with Portugal. I've seen a lot of low energy, passive, lethargic play. We should go in there, foot to their neck, and how we played at the end. Given, they were a little bit more open, but right when Ghana scored, they finally woke up to go, shit, man, we might drop points. They played more direct. They made runs down the middle. They played how they should have played from the beginning of the game. The beginning of the game, first game of the World Cup, you got to set the tempo. You got to set the precedence, and I didn't think they did that today.
it was really odd. I don't know if they got the memo, but they started the World Cup today.
Mm-hmm.
Today was the first day. I'm not sure if Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, I'm not sure. Ruben Neves, like, did they understand today was the first game of the World Cup? Was that communicated?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck comes to a game? A lot of these guys, some of these guys, this is it, man. Prime time. Like, let's go. Let's get it done. No urgency. Walking around. Static.
Yeah.
Paul Felix was one of the only players in the game, at least in the first half. This guy was begging for the ball.
Yeah, I like to see that.
Begging for the ball. Begging. And we weren't giving it to him. He wanted it today. He was one of the only guys on the field today that I can honestly say wanted to be on that field. Otavio?
He had a bad game, man. What a bad game.
Let's go up the field. Let's start at the back. Diogo Costa?
Yeah, horrible game.
What did he have to do? The only times we actually needed him, he was very weak. I thought he was very weak on both goals. I mean, not a ton he could do, but I mean, weak.
What were your thoughts on João Cancelo, man? That was his.
We're getting there. Yeah. João Cancelo.
What worst game?
One of the worst, if not the worst games I have ever seen João Cancelo play. And we consider this guy one of the best, if not the best, right? And we've often said he's the best right and left back in the game. What the fuck was he doing? Like, and we're not talking about,
out of character, that guy.
With all due respect to Ghana, we're not talking about a team that's
the lowest ranked team.
Man, decent players, 100%. Amateur hour. Looked like a Sunday night, Sunday afternoon kickabout in the park, man. No urgency, no sense of, man, we're going to take the game to them. It was pitiful, man.
Very pitiful.
It was pitiful. And I don't know how much you can pin on Fernando Santos. I really don't. I mean, for sure, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, man, you're on the field. Coach or not, quando aquela bola chega aos pés, you can decide what to do with it, man. How many times did you see João Cancelo take on a player today?
None.
1v1.
Yeah.
How many times did you see him do that week in and week out with Man City?
Yeah.
Cancelo has been awful for Portugal. Yes, he has. Man, oh man, if we don't change this attitude, it's going to get ugly. No intensity, no passion, no nothing. They played like a Liga NOS game. I mean,
I would even go above that. They didn't meet Liga NOS standards. And thank you, Sumo85, for leaving that comment. I totally agree with you. You hit the nail right on that.
Honestly, man, I think going through the rest of the team, I mean, João Cancelo was bad today. Rafael Guerreiro
was horrible.
Was
It
horrible.
looked like he gained like 25 pounds. I'm not saying body wise, but the way he was running,
I don't
he
know.
looked lethargic.
I don't know
man.
what happened. I don't know why Nuno Mendes didn't play. There wasn't a whole lot, other than already earlier in the week they were saying, he may not start because of small injury. But and I'm usually not. I usually don't have an issue with
Oh, you
Guerrero
love
starting.
You're a big
I'm
athlete.
not. I really do like Guerrero, but man, he was horrible today. Horrible today. And this was a game that these guys could have gone out there and just played with them, just toyed with them, man. There was no interplay. There was no interplay.
No urgency.
No word, but
I'm
no.
not saying urgency back where you have to run, but there was no. It was just too nonchalant. It was too like.
It was leisurely. It was like a leisurely stroll. We're gonna go out. We're gonna knock the ball around. Do you know we are so lucky that Ghana did not try and take the game to us, because we would have been caught so flat-footed. Honestly, we would have been caught so flat-footed. But even basic shit out the back. Ruben Dias gave up that corner kick. Did you see that? He gives up that corner kick in the first half.
Yeah.
But just a basic,
amateur
an amateur play, man. We're talking about one of the best center backs in the world, if not the best center back. And just amateur mistakes.
And I know what you're saying. We're not trying to blame the coach. All I'm trying to say is you got to set a precedent. If Ruben Dias, tell me the truth, if Ruben Dias did that under Guardiola in a Manchester City game, you don't think Guardiola would rip into him at halftime? They don't hold, like the standard is high. And again, I hope people understand what I'm trying to say. It's not the coach's fault that he did it. He should know better.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the level that they got to hold these guys should be way higher. He should be going in at halftime and being, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing?
Man, I talked to you about this yesterday.
Yes.
I said the keys, in my opinion, and I'm not a fucking professional, okay? So take this for what it is. But in my opinion, from my limited knowledge of football at a professional level, what I thought the keys to the game were: make sure we make good use of our left and right backs, get them high, get those overlapping runs, stretch the game, because we knew that Ghana was going to have a compact midfield, which they did. They kept it tight in the middle. They tried to stop us from doing those nice interplays, tried to reduce the amount of space that we had to be creative. So we had, in my opinion, we had to make sure one of the keys was to get good overlaps from our left and right back, stretch the game, keep it wide, good service into the box, get Cancelo and Rafael Guerreiro cutting into the middle, either shooting from range or playing that nice 1-2 steps with your inside forwards, either Felix or Ronaldo or Bernard. That was one. Number two, we had to try and keep Ronaldo nice and high up the field to try to open up that espaço entre linhas so that Bernard and Bruno could exploit that espaço entre linhas. And then Felix could come in. You've got a lot more libertad. That's where we can get creative. And then those nice backdoor runs, we could play some of those. Man, that's kind of how I felt Portugal needed to approach this game. Nice interplay, nice strategy to try to get interplay, try to get that espaço entre linhas, keep the game stretched to try to break up a very compact midfield. Man, this is not fucking rocket science, man. We're talking pretty basic football 101 here based on what we know. And we didn't do any of that today. 100%. None of it.
And another thing, I don't know if you agree with me, Mitch. I think our team selection was completely off. You ask anybody, and trust me, when it comes to World Cup especially, I watch every pundit I possibly can, every outside analyst. I like to hear other people's opinions that are not just Portuguese and biased. You know what they all said? Watch out for Rafael Leão on that left wing. Again, Nuno Mendes might be a little bit different. They were saying that we have the best left side in the whole World Cup. And right side with João Cancelo, Bernardo, they play together in Manchester City.
Absolutely.
I think the way that this team was set up,
Sneer just said we kept it on the left. The majority of if we saw a heat map of that first half, it was almost everything down that left. I'm serious. If we saw a heat map, a field heat map, it would have been everything down that left corridor.
Tactics, I think we're completely off today.
But can you explain to me why we needed Otávio in the midfield today? Why can we not go with Felix, Ronaldo, Leão, Bernardo, Bruno Fernandes, and Ruben Neves no meio campo.
Yeah.
Why is that not? Why do we need Otavio in that midfield?
Again, we knew we were going to take it to them. We know.
Exactly.
So why not set up a team
100%
super attacking where we can take it to? But that's my point at the beginning, Mitch. Is where was that at the beginning of the game? We've got to go balls to the wall. We attack them. We play our game. He played scared, man. He didn't
even play scared. I don't know what it was.
There was no passion there.
None. You know who played well today? And you know I've criticized them, especially since everything that's happened. Ronaldo,
he did.
He played well today. He was one of the bright spots.
Wait. Did you hear that, Sterling? Did he just say,
hey, listen.
My headphones. Just like this. This is right here. Yeah. Oh, look at Messi.
So we've kind of discussed the Portugal play. Let's get into some of the intricate details. First half, there's some controversy. Number one, you've got the goal that Ronaldo scored. That's deemed a foul. We can both agree that was not a foul.
Yes.
An offensive foul on Ronaldo.
There's
no foul there.
That specific foul. I don't think the initial call, I wouldn't have called it. But to be fair, to overrule that would have been tough too, because there was a little bit of contact. Again, it wasn't much, but to overrule that decision, it has to be completely obvious. And in the run of play, I could see how the ref called that. And then to overrule it, it was one of those. But I also think, I'm sure I don't want to, maybe that's what you're leaning towards. I think it was a makeup call. And not only that,
we're talking about the goal that Ronaldo scored, that it was a foul.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the penalty shot.
Not the penalty shot. We're gonna get there. The first one in the first half was the offensive foul that the ref called against Ronaldo. Ronaldo turned around, put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. He called a foul on Ronaldo. You thought that was fair?
I thought that was a fair goal.
I thought that was a fair goal. Yeah. I didn't think that was a foul on Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So you've got that one. The second one, to me, missed penalty shot against João Felix. Felix gets the ball. He gets absolutely ripped into his calf. Buddy takes a straight shot to his calf. Yeah. Referee called a foul against Felix first.
And Felix
got the ball first. So there was a penalty shot missed there. Now move to the second half. You've got what you were talking about, the penalty shot.
Yeah.
It's weak. It is soft, but to your point, yes, I think it's a makeup call all day.
Yeah.
And then the other controversy you have was the whole headbutt with João Felix.
Before that penalty shot.
Which was before the penalty shot.
Yeah, so that's three. You touched on three major things.
Three major misses to me. And just to be clear, with the João Felix one, I don't believe he should have been red carded direct, but he fouls Felix. It's a yellow card. Then him and Felix get into it. Felix leans into him first, but then Buddy goes full out headbutt. It should be a yellow card to both.
Yeah,
which would have been his second and hence a red card. So two big mistakes there by the ref.
So yeah, I do see how that went our way.
And the Ghana coach already after the game coming out saying that we were gifted that penalty from Ronaldo and whatnot. But to me, it's a soft call. It is, but it's a foul. It is a foul. It's a soft call. We said if that foul happens in the EPL on a Saturday afternoon, I don't think it's a penalty.
But shot. There is, again, you heard it here, recorded. We said it was soft, but there is contact on his back because it's a foul.
It's a foul.
If it's shoulder to shoulder, it's never a foul. But if you hit him in the back, it's a foul. And there was foot contact.
He clips his foot.
I would have called it, probably not. But to overrule that, never.
We even said if the call went against us, we would have been pissed because it was soft. Yeah. But do I think he deserved it? Yes, because I think we got fucked. I really do.
Yeah. Going off that though, that was Ronaldo came up, and you know what? A lot of people talk about penalty shots. Look at Alphonso Davies.
It's not easy, man.
It's not easy. We will obviously watch that. That's why we're going to be referencing it a little bit. But Alphonso Davies, first World Cup. Canada's never scored in the World Cup in their history. Went up, and it was a bad penalty shot.
Yeah.
Let's call it how it is. Again, the goalie still had a lot of the work to do. He gets the right side. He missed it. Ronaldo went there, pressure of the nation on it. He's been there so many times. He made it look easy. So
Great penalty.
great penalty shot.
Great
Just
penalty
fucking
shot.
powered it. The goalie
Great
gets
penalty
it. That composure to finish that, he did it. And that being said, he's the first player in history. I don't know if you want to pull up a couple slides here. First player in history to score at 5 World Cups. That's a huge stat. I mean, I know we cringed a little bit when we heard this. It doesn't follow records. Whose records follow me? Whose records follows me, Spash. So another record for him. Huge goal. What was this one? Yeah.
That was a big goal.
Yeah,
it was a big
ended up getting. I don't agree with this one, but he ended up getting out of the match. I
Not
think it was certain things that happened outside the game, which was his 5th.
I mean, the guy makes a record like that. I think out of respect, you're gonna give him the man of the match.
Or
there was
have
no
another interview.
or he'll have another interview.
Qatar.
Fucking. But anyway,
touching up on that. Sorry, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So I have a list here of a bunch of people that I reached out to that are fans of the pod. They're man of the matches.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
let's go
Chris
through.
Ramos, good friend of mine, he actually picked Ronaldo. He was the only one that picked Ronaldo.
Okay.
Kevin Jordal's Bruno Fernandes.
Okay. Yeah.
Richie
2 assists.
Rodriguez.
2 assists. Let's go through it.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes,
Yeah.
2 assists.
Yeah.
But quiet for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Relatively quiet. But he did step up with 2 big assists.
Richie Rodriguez, excuse me. Felix.
I agree with that.
Fernandes, Bruno. I'll let you pick yours. Kevin Duarte, he picked Bruno, which I'm surprised. He's been the biggest Bruno critic I've ever heard. But respect to him, and he picked him. Danny Relis also watched it with us. He picked Bruno.
Yeah.
I picked Bruno, and then Senor Adão picked João Felix.
Yeah, and I would take Felix too.
Yeah.
Bruno was, I mean, two assists, so it's hard to argue against it.
Yeah.
I just thought he was very quiet in that first half. Fairly, man, these guys are playing. This is what bothers me. These guys are playing top level, week in, week out. Best teams in the world. Best teams in the world. You're coming out to the World Cup. You're representing your country. Appa, show that you want to be there. Show that you want to fucking that's why I say Felix, because Felix was the only one. He wanted it today, man. He wanted it. Jogou com garra. He was one of the only ones on the field that I can say. We criticized him. But you know what? That Leão goal, why does it happen? Felix makes a fucking great sliding tackle in his own third. Right? In his own half. He makes a great sliding tackle, breaks the ball out, pops out to Bruno Fernandes, and that whole counterattack starts. But that all starts from a gritty tackle, sliding tackle from João Felix.
Yeah.
He doesn't make that tackle. It was that, and then a great finish on his goal. It was a beautiful finish, calm, cool, collected. That's what we need from João Felix, man. And that was the João Felix goal right there. That's beautiful. But I was gonna say, the passing of the torch, man. If we can rewind the clock back to a nice passing of the torch, you're gonna show it here. But man, I really think João Felix. I said it coming into the World Cup. I thought this was going to be Felix's tournament. I really did. And this was, if we rewind the clock back to 2004, you see there Figo passing the torch to Cristiano Ronaldo, and I think this tournament is going to be the passing of the torch of Cristiano Ronaldo to João Felix.
It's the Felix we've all been waiting for.
Man, it really is.
Before we get off topic here, because I want to integrate it properly, Ronaldo, there was an iconic picture that I fucking thought it was the coldest picture of this year. And you know what? This company, I'm sure you guys heard it, Louis Vuitton, did the unthinkable, what nobody could ever do in the history, is they brought the 2 goats together.
They actually weren't together though, because they weren't even in the same room for the shit. No.
They weren't?
No.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe they weren't, but
they took the pictures
together. And I guess most of you guys don't know this, but I'm a big chess nerd. And I watched Magnus Carlsen documentary. For those who don't know, they call him he's the greatest.
The goat of chess. The goat of chess.
Not only the goat of chess, when he was 10 years old, he beat and 10 Grandmasters blindfolded when he was 10 years old. He's amazing. Anyways, so Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen play this iconic game where it was a few years ago, I think it was 2016, where the match ended in a draw. It was the final, it ended in a draw. And this is the exact same layout. So, and then that case that they're playing on, that's the Louis Vuitton case that actually holds the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's the Louis Vuitton case that holds the World Cup. So they're playing on the World Cup.
That's cool.
And it's cool how they
cool.
made this picture because it ended in a draw. It's the two best chess players ever. And they both ended in a draw playing on the World Cup. But this picture, I dived even further. Cristiano Ronaldo is holding Magnus Carlsen's chips in this one. And Magnus Carlsen is the greatest chess player ever, even over Nakamura. So are they saying that Ronaldo's the GOAT? Maybe. Maybe we're looking into it too much. But anyway, I thought I wanted to refer this video, or this picture went viral.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
The only time it was them two in a photo.
Oh,
What do you got? What do you got?
I guess there was another time. There was there he is. Oh,
when I saw this, I just laughed, man.
You know,
I just
his
laughed.
bad crush.
I just laughed. Okay, so we've kind of touched on a lot. I want to touch on one more thing before we go.
Yeah.
Naki Williams at the end of the game just about does a sneak attack.
Oh,
Can we talk about this for a second?
I don't know.
We talked about
Ready?
we talk about the inexperience of Diogo Costa. This is his first big tournament that he's starting. How bad would this have been if that goal goes in and Portugal ties this game?
That would have been insane. Insane.
How the fuck do you not realize you've got an opposing player sitting behind you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So I don't know if you agree with this. Do you think that would have happened if Pep was on the field? Again, Diogo Costa is the main holder, not taking any away from. But I'm saying if there is a plan B, the leadership, the experience, do you think he would have been like, "Hey, Karai, there's a guy behind you, man. Watch out."
Man, it's hard to say. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know. It's the end of the game. Everybody's looking to, it's inexperience, man. It's just, to me, it's inexperience. And it could have cost us big time. And thank God that it didn't. But the fact that it happened, does that raise questions about whether or not Diogo Costa is the right guy
Yeah.
between the posts for us at this tournament?
Yeah.
So that actually brings it to
Kevin Duarte has some
Kevin
comments here.
Duarte.
Great job, boys. The Suns start the same 11 again. I need answers for the record. It was a toss-up for man of the match, Felix Abrun. Hard to compete with for the first two assists. Man, to me, does he go with the same starting level? We're going to get into this, but first, I guess we might as well start with Diogo Costa. Is he the right guy? Do you go back to Rui Patricio?
Okay.
Because you got to remember, these next two games, did you watch the Uruguay South Korea game? I mean, if we go into either of those two games the way we did today, we're not going to make it through the group.
Yeah. Right here, Sumo 85.
Uruguay drew, so we know they were coming with everything and playing like today. We're going to be in big 100%. So we know we're going to be in trouble if we go into the game the same way. Knowing that, do you risk going with Diogo Costa in game 2?
Okay, so this is just my personal opinion. You know, most people might disagree with me, but there was a saying that was told by when I was an apprentice by a journeyman. I made a mistake. I dropped something. I was really nervous about it. I just started off, and he's like, "You know what? Don't let it bother you. You just got a Harvard degree. You just learned the worst way possible. That feeling you have inside, you'll never do it again. You'll never." And I never did. So, is it going to be one of those things where now every time he fucking puts it down, he knows now, he learned? Is it one of those things that he gained experience from? Is it learned from? I don't think he'll ever do that again. I think that's although it was very inexperienced, I totally agree with you. It will put into question if he's the right guy. Totally agree with you. Will he do it again? I mean, most likely not. I think, I know I keep saying this, and you guys, I know I'm a broken record sometimes. I think that element, jogar com os pés, although he was not the best version of himself today, made a couple questions, mistakes. I think he creates another element for us, especially the way we fucking played today with passing it back 1,005 times. I think he does add that element that that can pass him
That
just
safety
a little
element.
bit.
Yeah.
That safety net, which I really love in the team. Even Guardiola, I quoted him earlier, he will not have a goalie
That can't play with his feet. Yeah.
for that exact reason.
Yeah.
So I would still play him again. I think
You'd
it
play
would
Diogo Costa
completely
again.
crush him, crush his confidence. He's already beaten. He's already looking in the mirror right now, and he's really upset
My
with
issue
himself.
with Diogo
But-
Costa, and I've always said this before, and you know, it hasn't really come up as an issue because he's had some solid starts, but he has a tendency to really lose his focus in a game. And I'll take you back to the Porto Athletic Madrid game a year ago in the Champions League. You remember? I think it was 5-1, where it was just
he ran out.
He almost all 5 goals
Yeah,
he was at fault for.
100%.
Just an absolute shocker.
Yeah,
Not to say that Rui Patricio doesn't once in a while have one of those games too. Every keeper can have one of those games, but Diogo Costa a few times has had one of these games where just disastrous. And at the World Cup, man, the margin for error,
very small.
right?
Yeah.
There's not too many times what Diogo Costa did today isn't going to cost you a goal.
And we got lucky because he slipped.
Very lucky.
Slipped. Did you notice that? He ran up, he won the ball, and he slipped.
So
If
my
he did
thing
not slip,
is,
that's in the back of the
if
net.
he makes a fuck up again,
Yeah.
we're sitting here saying, why didn't Fernando Santos start Rui Patricio? I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, guys, knowing that the margin for error is nil, I would play, me personally, if I'm Fernando Santos, I'm starting Rui Patricio against Uruguay.
Yeah.
If we get past
So
Uruguay,
you would play Rui Patricio next
I would
game.
play Rui Patricio against Uruguay. Me personally, I would play Rui Patricio against Uruguay. If we get past Uruguay, and Rui Patricio is kind of has a lack, nothing special unless he's stands on his head. You keep playing him, but if he's kind of it doesn't have a massive impact on the game, go back to Diogo Costa against South Korea. See if he can get his feet back under him.
I mean,
Because now we've got qualification in the bag. If you want to throw him back into the mix, you can.
I know what you're saying, but I think this is my personal opinion. You could be right, but to flip flop all the time, I don't think it's good for their confidence. Especially like the way I see it. I mean, you can still argue it for it, but the way I see it, he made that mistake. Trust me. If we're talking about it, every
For sure,
person's talking
100%.
about it, there's nobody that knows that he fucked
So
up
you
more than him.
go Costa. I go Rui Patricio. Left back.
I think it would crush his confidence.
Let's go to left back. Same Rafael Guerreiro,
No,
Nuno Mendes,
No, Nuno
or do you
Mendes.
swap Cancelo to the left?
no. You know what? Cancelo is one of the best left backs in the world, but I think having him on the right on a good day, not like today, and Minge on the left, they're awesome. They're like the best wing backs in the world. That they add such a beautiful, great element to the team that I think we're better with Minge Cancelo than Cancelo Dalot.
So we can agree if Nuno Mendes is healthy, Nuno Mendes starts. If he's not healthy, do you go Rafael Guerreiro again? Or
No.
do you slot Cancelo left back and go Dalot right back?
From what I've seen today, and Guerreiro's done a lot for the national team. Great player, big moments. 2016, one of our best players. I think, from what I've seen today, he was a little bit slow. I mean, he did nice passes, a little 1-2s, but we need a fucking bull on that left back position. So yeah, I would totally agree with you. I would go Cancelo, Dalot.
Cancelo left back, Dalot right
Yeah.
back. I would too.
And Dalot has been playing great. And not only that, the last few games, he's been scoring for us. He's been our best player as a right back. You can argue that he can even start over João Cancelo.
Well, I was going to get to that. If Nuno Mendes is healthy at left back, if I'm Fernando Santos, I'm starting Dalot against Uruguay.
Yeah, I agree.
Cancelo did not look up for it today. And not only that, let's look at his club form this year. Cancelo has not been at the top of his game for City this year.
Yeah.
He just hasn't. Like if you compare Cancelo's performances in his club with Dalot, I say Dalot is outplaying Cancelo.
Cancelo's been a great player.
That's my opinion.
And then you add the chemistry factor too. I know Cancelo has chemistry with Bernardo, but now you have Dalot,
Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes. So you've also got good chemistry there.
Yeah.
So for me personally, especially after the game he had today, which was to me he was the worst player on the field for us
Not even
today.
close.
Not even close. João Cancelo was the worst fucking player on the field for us today. He looked
And
like he
did
did.
you
He
see
looked like
this-
he belonged in second division.
that first goal that Ghana scored, that was all Casilda.
All Cancelo,
All how
day.
he gets beaten there is unacceptable, man. And
It's
you know
not
what?
even-
that
God.
performance. He was the worst on the field today, but that summed up what Portugal brought to the World Cup in this game.
Oh.
Everybody, I mean, we understand the game, and a lot of our fans, I know them a lot, and they understand the game. People will just look at the result. Oh, well, you won, but we know what happened today. We knew this was an unacceptable performance. Win, lose, or draw, doesn't matter what the fuck happened. That was a horrible performance, and we're lucky. I mean, lucky that we won that game.
Very,
Very lucky.
very lucky. We should have very well tied that game.
If we come like that against Uruguay or even South Korea,
Oh,
we're
pá,
done.
vamos ser massacrados, man. Are you kidding me?
Especially Uruguay.
Especially
And
Uruguay.
Uruguay's going to be up for it. It's South Korea. Don't get me wrong; they don't take anybody lightly. But Uruguay, Portugal's a respected nation. They're going to be up for it, man. They're going to be up for it, and they're not going to be. It's not going to be a game like South Korea again. They're going to score. They're gonna be up for it.
So we talked about the left and right backs, center backs. Do you go with the same pairing?
No. So this is the thing. I'm not being hard on Danilo because he did possess the ball, but to be fair, we played to his game. We did a lot of fucking passing back, and yeah, it looks pretty because he's always having the ball.
Mhm.
But I think that Pep, that leadership, that vocal point, what he brings to the team, that I personally think we wouldn't be playing that bad. And this is just a personal theory, so take it with a grain of salt. But I know Pep, he's a vocal person. He's the captain of Porto. Even every time I see him play for Porto, he's talking to players, yelling at players, holding players accountable. All those things you see off the ball that he does, that a lot of people don't see and go unnoticed, he brings to that team. And I think we would have played a lot different with him on the field just because he would hold a lot of more players accountable. So it's a hot take, but I really think I was
Starting Pep and Antonio Silva
Yeah.
against
Sorry, my eyes
Uruguay.
are so bad.
You know, Antonio Silva, you know, we've talked about this already. I mean, it's a risk starting a kid that young. But from what we saw today, you know, I don't think, even though I don't think it's a bad idea, I just don't think Fernando Sanchez is gonna take a risk, knowing he likes the safety aspect. You know, I don't think that he would risk starting Antonio Silva against Uruguay.
Yeah,
I really don't. I
and
think
a
he's
good
gonna go with
coach.
the same. If Pep improves fitness wise, I would absolutely start Pep over Danilo all day, especially knowing that we've got Darwin.
Yeah, against Uruguay too. They have tall bodies. We need to win a lot of headers. We need to even Danilo. He had again. I'm not hating on Danilo. There was a lot worse than him, but that second goal again, call it unlucky, but it went through his legs. If it was football is all about moments, and in certain moments you do not make mistakes. It happens. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I'm being a little bit hard on you, but those experienced big time players don't make mistakes in the big moments. Okay. And that was a really bad moment there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I totally agree. If Pep's healthy,
I think if Pep's healthy, it's got to be Pep and
I
Diaz
agree
at the
with
back.
Antonio Silva, but it couldn't happen the way it's happened. Those kinds of moves, if you want to integrate young defensemen, this shit happens months ago, not at the World Cup. This is where we're really hard on coaching. You got to integrate these teams.
Man, you
build their
can't be
confidence
to me.
way ahead of schedule.
Like I say, the margin for error at the World Cup is zero. You cannot be taking unnecessary risks. To me, as much as I absolutely love Tony Silva, I'm a huge fan. If I'm Fernando Sanchez, that's not a risk I'm taking.
No,
we get through Uruguay with a win. Tony Silva starts the third game all day.
100%.
All day.
For
But against Uruguay,
first.
I'm not taking that risk.
No.
If Pep is healthy, I'm going Pep. If Pep is not healthy, I'm still going Danilo
Yeah, me too.
Diaz.
100%.
I'm still going Danilo Diaz. They were not the weakest links. As much as Danilo was questionable on a couple of plays, so was, and we talked about, so was Ruben Diaz on a couple of things. I'm still going Diaz and Danilo. If Pep is not healthy. If Pep's healthy, I'm going there.
So we talked about it a little bit earlier. What did you think about the full-on 11 and most importantly, the first sub that we made? Because again, at that point, it's all about moments, right? All about moments. We're 0-0, I believe at that time. We did not score when William came on, right? It was 0-0. So yeah, so it's not like we're trying to hold the lead. It was 0-0, I believe, around the 60th minute. And we choose to bring on William Carvalho, another Tariq. I didn't understand that substitute. We were talking about Rafael Leão to come in. And again, we were right because he made a huge difference. What did you think? What's your take on
point? What do I think? Anything involving William. unless we're trying to shut up shop.
Like his mentality, the coach's mentality. What is he going
It's
for?
0-0. The game is slow. The game is lethargic. And you're gonna go and grab the slowest player on the team. The mentality, it's textbook for nonsense.
Yeah,
it really is. It even goes beyond textbook. It just defies logic in its entirety.
but
You take off Otavio, who is a dynamic player. He's a dynamic player, okay, much more so than William.
Yeah.
But the game needed more than what Otavio could bring, and you go backwards rather than taking a step onto the front foot to try to win this game and bring on somebody like a Leon. But what he tried to do, let me be clear from a tactic perspective, I understood what he did, because what he did was Otavio was not playing a deep lying center mid. He wasn't playing a defensive mid role. He was playing very much in a center mid kind of,
which he did good.
Which he did okay.
Game, but he did good in that role.
What he did was he pulled William in and he pulled him side by side to Ruben Neves. And what that did was it freed up Bruno Fernandes. That's why you saw a little bit more liberdade from Bruno Fernandes in the second half, because as soon as he did that, he kind of brought two deeper lying mids and it freed up Bruno Fernandes to play a little bit higher up in front of them, and that's where you really see Bruno Fernandes shine. Instead of playing in an almost dual 10 role with Bernard, he kind of switched to a sole 10 role, and that's where you really started to see Bruno Fernandes shine, and that's exactly how he was able, positioning wise, that's where he got the ball for the assist on both plays, was in that kind of that position. So that was the tactical thought from Fernandes Sanches. But again, to me, the game, if you're going to do that, in my opinion, again, if you wanted to bring in William as some kind of anchor, which again, if that's your thought, to me, the switch would have been Neves for Palhinha.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, if that's what he wanted to do, I don't think Neves should have come out. I really don't, because even when Neves came out, I didn't think he should have come out, because I thought he was actually having a decent game. Again, I thought his distribution was key. His distribution game is great. Yeah. But if you wanted to do that, if you wanted more of an anchoring defensive mid, Palhinha should have been the guy to bring on, not William.
So I don't know if you agree. I totally agree with your point. That's what he was thinking. But for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the way I seen the game. Prior to that, and I guess we touched up on this a little bit earlier, we were playing very lethargic, very along the back, very nonchalant. Where I think the game changed was when Ghana scored, when it was 1-1. That was the shockwave that went through the lineup, and then right away after that, you see an urgency, and you've seen it on the score line too. Right after that, they started playing more direct. They started making more runs. And again, you might argue, oh, it's good because Ghana had to open up. But at that point, it was 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
So at 1-1, Ghana, it was the same for them as 0-0. 1-1 against Portugal, they take that any day of the week. What happened was Bernardo Silva, João Felix, which I thought he had a great game. He created some flair. And Bruno Fernandes started running at him, opening up space with more urgency, the right amount of urgency, not just shooting balls up and Hail Mary passes. No, but we were more direct. We were using more flair, more exuberance, and that's when the game started to change. The biggest change, for me, over the William, obviously, substitution, was when Rafael Leão came. We were watching the game, and we were talking, and we agreed that the game, if you guys don't understand, I'll translate after. Jogador para rasgar o jogo. The game was, when the team is playing so defensive, all these men behind the ball, you need a player to open up the game. burn one or two guys, a flair guy. You've seen that a lot with Vinny for the Brazil team.
For the Brazil team, yeah.
You've seen it. He made something out of nothing, and I think Rafael Leão is our Vinny. When he came on, what a goal by Rafael Leão. Vintage Rafael Leão.
Yeah.
For me, that's what changed the game. The mentality changed. The team that we wanted to start the game ended up coming after 1-1. For me, that's what changed it.
You also got to remember, Ghana opens up.
Yeah.
Ghana
1-1?
opens up. Oh,
Yeah.
Don't. They bring on 2 strikers, man.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But
They
still,
they scored the tying goal and they thought they had a chance to win. They brought in 2 strikers and the game opened up. And as soon as they opened up, Portugal, they played right into Portugal because I don't know that there's any team on the international level that is better than Portugal on the counterattack.
Wow.
That is our forte. What we proved today is we have no fucking clue how to play a possession game.
Yeah. Well,
We haven't figured it
no
out.
direction. They were just playing.
There's no direction. We haven't figured that out. We haven't figured out how to be dangerous with the ball at our feet. And that's what we proved today. And I don't know if that's what Fernandes has to change up. But when we were the most dangerous today is when Ghana decided to lay off their back line and they broke their block in the midfield and decided to open up. That's when it got dangerous for them because we caught them on the counterattack and that's when we scored. That's when we scored both goals.
The mentality changed too.
Right. So I think that was a big thing. But to your point, is William Carvalho the right sub? Absolutely not. But yeah. I'm glad at least he made the right subs in bringing in Leão afterwards and even Palhinha after João Mario. To me, back to your point, if Otávio was coming off, even João Mario would have been a better player to bring in at that time. If you're looking for a player to come in to swap out Otávio, but that can still give you that attacking kind of dynamic. I thought João Mario would have been a better guy to bring
100%.
in.
There's lots. One guy, and again, I've been hard on him this year. It's not a biased pick. I think for this particular game, since we don't have a guy like I don't know, Sumo 85 referenced it, a guy like Renato Sanchez, which I think is pillar.
Oh, but
Sumo 85 he's on point today. I think he's a pillar.
We said it so many times, man.
This team needed Matheus Nunes
Oh,
because he's a good ball winner. He's good at running at players. He brings a different element to the Portugal team. This particular game that we were missing, a guy that you've seen what he could do. He runs at players. He can run through 3 or 4 players, create space, bring energy. We need energy. Renato last knockout tournament, he came on so well. Why? Because he brought that energy. We need flair. Rafael Leão brought in flair. Felix, flair, wanted the ball, a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, this
running
would have
at players.
This would have been
chipping the goalie. We need that energy, that fire in our team.
This would have been Renato's game.
Yeah.
This would have been Renato's
or
game.
even Matheus Nunes. Honestly, he's not having the best, but either was that really.
Yeah. No, but we said it. We talked about it while we were watching the game. We looked at each other and said, "Fuck, can you imagine Renato?" This is when you bring in Renato.
100%.
When you can't break through that midfield, it's when you bring in a guy like Renato. He'll pick on a ball in his own half and he busts through that midfield.
Yeah,
he's a bull in a china shop. He just takes that ball. He's so strong. Nobody can get the ball off of him. It was his game, but he's not there.
But
so
that he's not there. I think again, you brought it up.
Back to,
even over João Mario. João Mario will be a good player to bring in if you want that possession game, or if it's up 3-0 and you want to hold the ball. I think for this particular game, it's asking for players.
So to this point, let's go back to who we're starting against Uruguay. So we got through the back line. In the midfield, who are you starting in the midfield against Uruguay?
I liked Bruno and Bernardo. I thought one player we didn't touch up on, and I thought came in really well was Palhinha. He won a lot of big balls that a lot of people, it goes unseen, but a lot of big tackles in the midfield that if they were in transition could be a different game. But we've been saying that forever. I really liked Palhinha, especially against Uruguay. A lot of big, strong, tall guys. We need grit. We need a player like Palhinha. So I would start Palhinha 100%. I would keep the midfield the same. Bruno Fernandes and and Bernardo Silva. I thought Bernardo Silva had a great game.
He had a good game.
Not lethargic, but that's what he does. He opens up. You cannot get the ball off of for nothing. Makes a couple smart plays. I liked him. The big change for me is Rafael, and people know that what I feel about Rafael Leão, what I've said about him. But I think he's a key player. He has to come into the lineup.
So you're going Palhinha, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes,
Yes.
Felix,
Ronaldo,
Rafael Leão.
and then, buddy, wing backs in the new generation of soccer is one of the most important. They're all important. It's Trinco, obviously your goal scorer. You need a good defenseman, and your wing backs are the biggest workhorses. They're the hardest working players. Is your wing backs. We need at one point. We have guys like Delors. I would be okay. I'd be 50-50 with Casillo because given his soccer heritage, we know what he can do, what he can bring.
Yeah.
That's a Mourinho quote, by the way, soccer heritage. What's it called? I'd either start Cancelo. I'd be okay with either Cancelo or Delors. But the big change, and we talked a lot about it, is Guerreiro. Guerreiro has given a lot to us, but we need speed. We need flair. Nuno Minge and Leão on the left side. You name me a better national team.
Would terrorize, man.
With a better left side than that. This maybe max one or two in the whole world that can bring that, if that. So if we do those changes, and we play less scared, less lethargic, less, you see what it was. It was just gross, dry soccer. We come out and we take the game to them with those players. Watch out. We can beat anybody.
Who are you most worried about on this Uruguay team? Okay. Who can hurt us? How are they going to hurt us?
This is the thing. Who's their best player? I don't think there's a person in here that wouldn't say Darwin. Darwin Núñez can hurt us. He's very fast, amazing player. But I'm going to be a little bit more, unorthodox. I think a guy like Cavani, a guy like Suarez off the bench, it's lethal because they have that experience. Those players are up for it. This is not South Korea. All due respect to South Korea. I think they have a good team. They have good players. But there's something about these big games that these big players, these iconic players, they show up for it. I would watch it. They have a strong bench. The start of the game, obviously Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez can run it behind. If we're playing guys like Danilo, although he, positionally he's usually on point, he can definitely exploit Danilo. So the main, obviously, Wolf Point, the main answer is Darwin Núñez, but I think the difference maker is going to be their bench. If we start, playing lethargic, we start doing stupid plays, guys like Cavani, Darwin, and Suarez will not let those go. Those are lethal players.
To me, the biggest threat, and not to say that Darwin isn't a threat, he's a huge threat. Valverde.
Oh yeah, he's a great player.
To me, you see the game Valverde had today against South Korea.
He's a top player, top player.
I think it was Richie today during the game was saying that Toni Kroos from Real Madrid was saying that Valverde was one of the best midfielders he's ever played with.
Yeah, he's a workhorse, man. He could play right back.
He is an absolute tank.
Center back. CM. He's fucking right
What
wing.
a player! What a player!
Yeah, workhorse.
I'm telling you, man, I am not feeling all that good about the game coming up against Uruguay. I don't know about you. I look at this. Let me just run through the lineup from Uruguay, okay?
4-time World Cup winners.
Cáceres, Godin, Jimenez, Oliveira. In the midfield, Valverde, Vecino, Betancourt. Up front, Pellistri, Suarez, and Núñez. That is a fucking good team, man. That is a dangerous team, man. And let's not forget, these are the guys that knocked us out of the. These are the guys that knocked us out of the World Cup in 2018.
Yeah. We could not break that, but you have Godin. Godin's one of the best center backs.
Oh my god! And Jimenez, man.
Jimenez, they played together. That chemistry is bar none. They're going to be hard to score.
And then off the bench, you got Cavani, De La Cruz, Varela. I mean, this is a very, very, very good.
I have a question for you. Might be a beta answer, okay? But given Portugal, if you can sign off on a draw right now, would you take it against Uruguay? Given they already tied their first game, so we.
No, I wouldn't. Because South Korea is dangerous too, man.
No, you think Fernando Sancho sign off on that?
Fucking
Oh,
right.
yeah.
He said it. He said it in the conference de imprensa. He said it right now. If we can win the World Cup with 3 draws right out of the group stage, assinamos já por baixo. That's his mentality, man. We know that that's his mentality. That's his mentality. It always has been his mentality.
Yeah. Who's Clement?
Dinâmica e poder é objetivo para Portugal. Força Portugal. Yeah, dinâmica e poder, man.
Yeah,
You know what?
sure.
That's the thing. We need to come out. If I'm Fernando Santos right now and we're sitting down tomorrow and we're rewatching this game, I'm sitting down and asking every single one of those players, what does the World Cup mean to you? What does being here mean to you? I'd want to hear from every one of those players. What does it mean for you guys to be here? And after everyone gave me their answers, I'd want them, each and every one of them, to tell me, after watching your performance, did that demonstrate what it means to you?
No. He doesn't talk like that, man. Fernando Santos.
I don't know what he talks like, but if I'm the coach, I'm sitting down and I'm having that conversation with these players, man. These guys did not look like they were at the World Cup, man. You're at the World Cup.
Canada looked like they're at the
Canada looked like they were at the World Cup.
I'm telling you right now, and this is not the sexiest answer in the world. I think if we played Canada like this, Canada would have beat Portugal.
Oh, buddy.
The way they played
Oh,
against
D.
Belgium,
Are you kidding me?
they played amazing. Missed punish shots,
Christian.
multiple chances. That was a team that had a good I watched their whole documentary on FIFA Canada. That coach fills them with confidence, holds them accountable, gives them the right speeches, says everything right. That I think he's a coach. He's a way better. I think, although he's not world renowned yet, I think he's a better coach than Fernando Santos, because that would not fly in a team like
Christian, we were watching the Canada-Belgium game, and what did I say? I hope Fernando Santos is at home taking notes on the back of his Masterback, the SG Ventiles, okay? And writing this
team up for it.
Because you know what? That was a team that came out
I was ready too.
and that was ready. They came out on the front foot, jogaram olhos nos olhos. Like
against the second-ranked team,
against the second-ranked team in the world, man. This team knocked Portugal out, man. We need to see a Portugal that isn't afraid, that has, and we've talked about this before, that has an identity, that knows exactly who they are when they get on the field.
Make Portugal great again. I agree.
I hate to say it, I really do, but sometimes I wish Portugal would fall, just so we can rebuild from this Fernando Santos era, man. Because we need a coach that instills that belief in these players. We need a coach that knows how to get the best out of a team like this, that's so talented. And it's hard, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's an easy job, because you've got egos. You've got guys who are coming into this with different shit going on in their lives. I mean, just look at Ronaldo. You think he's the only one who's got shit going on? João Felix is potentially on his way out of Athletic Madrid. You've got all these players that are going through different shit, either at home with family or within their clubs and all this bullshit. It's tough, man. You got a lot of egos to try to get the best out of these players. It takes a coach who really knows how to deal with personalities and who knows the players that he's got at his disposal. But we can't be wasting this talent, man.
It's waste. It's waste. It's waste.
I am going to drop dead of a fucking heart attack if I see the Seleção play another fucking game like they did today, man. I can't, man. Os meus nervos, I can't. I'm not a smoker. I can't just take off and calm the nerves. Like, we can't be playing like this, man. We are way too good of a team to be coming into a game against Ghana, the lowest ranked team in the world. Like, we just about tied this game, Christian. We were this close, man. This close.
You know what? You hit the nail on the head. It's one thing we're talking right after game. There is never time when Portugal's on the screen, I do not want it to win. I wish they win 1,000 times out of 1,000 times. Okay, but if you take a step back, you put your pride aside, you put your ego aside, you take it a step back, you zoom out, and you look at what's best for Portugal. And of course, I'll never want that. I don't even want to put it in the universe. But the best thing for Portugal would have crashed and burned in this World Cup. What did Ronaldo's quote say in the interview? Picasso? Like, completely bullshit. But sometimes you got to tear things down and rebuild, right? To build it up again. That's
Dude,
what
I
really
want-
push that line. But I honestly think it would hurt. It would suck. It's Ronaldo's last World Cup. The moment's horrible. But in the long haul, given the pool of talent that we have, we would be better off.
Honestly, man, going through my head, when this game was tied today, I said, you know what? I hope Ghana wins.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not even gonna pretend like it didn't cross through my mind.
course,
I
me
was
too.
saying I hope Ghana wins. And like I was just saying, sometimes I hope Portugal falls sometimes just so we can break this nonsense, man. Can't do it anymore with this Fernando Santos, man.
Yeah.
This mentality, this lackluster baller that we see from this guy, man. You know, and you get to this, we have short-term memories because we always get to the big dance and we always have this esperança that things are going to be different. And then vira o disco que toca o mesmo. It's always the same fucking shit, man.
And you know what? Sometimes we think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, but we're like, okay, maybe Fernando Santos will learn.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna learn. You know,
we almost went out.
I'm gonna tell you when I saw the lineup today, and I didn't see William Carvalho in the starting 11, I said, Jesus, could it be, man? Could it be? Could it be?
Yeah, and he made him captain. Captain William. Like some of these things we joke about, but it's sad, man. Like,
Jesus. So I think going into the game against Uruguay, we have to fix a lot of things.
lots.
We have to fix a lot of things, but I also think it's going to be different because I mentioned it earlier. Portugal's forte is on the counterattack, and Uruguay is a team that will take the game to Portugal. They tied the first game to Sumo 85's point. They're going to take the game to Portugal, and I think that might play to our advantage because that is where we are the most dangerous, is when we are on the counterattack. But we have to have the right players on the field in order to exploit that and in order to take advantage, which means, to your point, Leão and Felix need to start.
100%.
And this would have been a game, and I'm sorry to bring this up, but this would have been a game for Rafa.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, this would have been a game coming up now against Uruguay. This would
And
have
he
been a
has
game
that
for
flair,
Rafa.
that flair missing. And you know what? Not to keep mentioning the same things, but Fernando Santos, although all the shit he's done and all the things and everybody knows he's not the right guy, he's still in a situation where he can redeem himself. Hear me out. He's respected by the players. Even in that Ronaldo interview, he talked about the best coaches in the world that he's coached, and he put, believe it or not, Fernando Santos there. And there was a couple of memes where it showed, I don't know if you guys ever see that meme where those army guys are behind the corner, and it's like 4 army guys, and one of them's a clown. And they put that as a meme, and fucking every coach that he's listed, and he put Fernando Santos. Anyways, he listed him. But that just shows me that they respect him.
For sure they do.
So all he's got to do, I mean, there's more to being a coach, but with the amount of time he has to work with players, which is not much, as long as being respected and believed by the players is like 80% of it. They're all top players. They're all amazing players playing the best teams with the best coaches. They know what they're doing. If he at least got the team selection right, while having the respect for players, that's like 90% of it, 95% of it. So he does have room to redeem himself. If he puts out the right players, they'll do, like I said, 90% of the work. The 10% is the motivation, the tactics, the making sure they're up for it. But again, he can, as long as he puts the right players, those Portuguese players are going to be up for it. They're playing Uruguay.
Ricky Ferrer says all he has to do is bench his worst and start his best.
Exactly. It's that simple. If he does that, I'm confident Portugal can still do something. But if it's like you just said, tocar o disco, toca o mesmo, we're not going to go anywhere. As much as we're going to support them, as much as we love them, as much as it hurts, we can get out of the group stage. But to win the big dance like this, it's going to be really tough.
We've got the talent to do it, Christian. Arguably the most valuable player on our squad sat on the bench today
100%.
against Ghana.
I know.
What are we doing, man? I got a text from one of my buddies. He says, I don't know who Otavio is, but I know who Rafael Leão is.
Yeah.
Why isn't Leão starting?
Buddy, Leão is the French player, or the French, Tennessee, the Italian League player of the season last year. He's already won multiple player of the month this season. He's on fire. He's projected to be 160, 180 million. Everybody's going nuts for him.
It's a crime.
And he's
It's
on the fucking bench.
Crime. It's
We have
a
Vitinha,
crime.
plays, again, we don't talk much about him, but a guy like him on the bench plays for PSG, top prospect. We have Matheus Nunes, top prospect. The list goes on and on, and they're not played and they're not utilized, and it's the fucking same bullshit.
At the end of the day, man, we know we've got the talent to do it.
100%.
It's and I go back to this. We play very well on the counterattack. On the counterattack, we know what we're doing. We are a team who does not know how to play with the ball at our feet. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to create chances. How many shots? We had the ball. What was this possession stat? 73% in the first half? Deixa-me ver essa merda. Deixa-me ver. Let me pull up the stats here. You know, I love my stats.
That we don't know how. I think it's player selection. When you play players that like to pass the ball back and forth and play lethargic football, that's what you're going to get. You have players on the bench to take it to them and know how to play that style you're referring to.
Do you know how many shots we had today? 11 shots. Do you know how many Ghana had? 9. Opa. Isto é vergonhoso, man. Against a team like this?
What was the possession?
The possession was 62 to 38.
With the same shots.
With almost the same shots, man.
Yeah. Pass it back. Circle the back. Pass it back. Circle the back.
How many times did they have us hemmed in our area, man? Vergonhoso, man. It was disgusting. It was pitiful, man. Just pitiful to watch the way we played. And honestly, I don't think there's a Portuguese soul on this planet, unless you completely know nothing about bola, that you were happy with the way this seleção played today.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Unless you don't know the game.
Unless you have zero comprehension about bola. There's not a soul that is walking this earth today that is Portuguese that is happy with the way that we play today. And I take nothing away from Ghana, okay? All respect to them, okay? But they are miles from the talent pool of Portugal. Miles, man.
Shout out to Kudos, though. That guy's a good player. That's the one.
Man, they
player.
have good players,
Yeah.
man. Iñaki Williams is oh my God, dangerous player. Dangerous player. They have good players. Don't get me wrong. But again, different
gravy.
different atmospheres, man.
Different
Different
gravy.
atmospheres. I mean, it's just in a game that they allowed Portugal to dominate and let us have the ball as much as we did, we should have destroyed them.
Yeah.
Destroyed them. This should have been a Spain thrashing versus Costa Rica, man. The amount of possession that they allowed us. This should have been we should have been 1-2s, beautiful 1-2 triangle passes, backdoor runs all day. Like
Take it
we
to them, man.
take it to them,
fucking
man. Take a player on. Show them what you got, man. And that's what I say. João Felix was the only one today. Ele queria a bola, man. He wanted it. He was screaming, man. Ele estava aí entre linhas. These guys aqui com, like bullshits and passes back to the defense. And João Felix was the only one making dynamic runs he was cutting into the middle, screaming for the ball, man. The guys wanted it at his feet.
Richie dropping some knowledge, man. I totally agree with you.
What's Richie saying? Pull up the comment there, Senhor. Everybody's on fire today. I love it. Everybody's the chat's on fire
Move the ball
today.
around properly, possession, no width, no wing play. But yeah, I remember halfway through the game, 35th, 40th minute, and early in the second half, we seen Bruno Fernandes play winger. He was on the wing. What the fuck is he doing there, man? What the fuck? The tactics were all tudo fodido, man. Tudo fodido. Total. I couldn't agree more with you, man. Just lethargic. And again, yeah, he said his last comment though. The only transition in the game opened up, they carved them open. I agree with you. It was a little bit of both. I think when we were more urgent. Yes, we had more space. Totally agree with you. But we see more urgency. That's that. I'm telling you, when that Ghana scored to tie the game, I know I said this earlier. It changed everything. It was almost better for us because we're like, okay, we might fucking drop points this game. Let's take it to them. And that's the fucking Portugal that should come out with.
So I found the stat. Successful dribbles. You ready? Portugal, 2 successful dribbles. Ghana, 7. If I'm Fernando Santos, I'm taking that stat and I'm posting it on a fucking wall. You kidding me? The amount of talent we have on that team. Successful dribbles, 2. Ghana, 7. And we had 63% of the ball. These guys would be running laps for 3 hours in the fucking 40-degree heat. Vamos aqui a brincar, okay? You guys want to be here? You know how many guys would kill to be here? Que merda é essa, man? And you know what? That's not on the coach. That's not on the coach because, like I say, man, when you're on the field, you can determine what you do with that ball at your feet. But it is up to the coach to bring some accountability into that locker room, man. These guys weren't up for it.
100%.
Regardless of what Fernando Santos put out there as tactics, these guys were not up for it today.
But man, even things like the post-game press conference, the pre-game press conferences, that's a big part. People underplay it. They think, they just go there, they say all the right things and leave. That culture is instilled. I would tie every game, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Every Portuguese person that understands bola today was not fucking happy with that result. What did Fernando Santos say at the end? Oh, we win. We got the job complete. Well, he was happy.
He was
fucking happy.
He was.
That should not be the culture. How many good coaches? I'll speak because this is the team I watch the most. Obviously, you guys know is Hunamori. Even after we win, he'll call him out. I'm not saying in a bad way.
Yeah,
he does it. He's a very well-spoken individual.
Yeah.
But he'll be like, yeah. People like to talk. Yeah, we won 3-0, but we made a mistake here. We need to work on it. We made a mistake here. We need to work on it. He holds that standard up. A great coach will hold them accountable. Look at these fine details. Is not content with a game like this because, yeah, we won against Ghana, but we're trying to win a fucking World Cup, man.
Yeah.
We're not trying to beat Ghana. I know it's part of the process. I'm not taking anything away from that, but there's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And to create a winning team and a winning team. A winning mentality, a winning culture, it all starts, it's one brick at a time.
Yeah.
And if you're not laying that foundation properly, this is what fucking happens.
Yeah, it's true. And he was happy. He was happy. In the press conference, he actually said it was good that foi uma vitória sofrida because he says sometimes you go into games, you win 5-6-0, it's all great, you scored a lot of goals, but you get complacent. So it was good, but a gente sofrer bocadinho.
When was the last time we started playing? Other than what was against Nigeria, yeah, we did. But
I don't know. In a tournament, Christian. Yeah. The last time Portugal won by anything more than 2 or 3 goals, the last I can remember was against what? North Korea, 7-0. Yeah. Foi ou não foi?
Yeah. And then Hungary.
The 3 of us drove around the city like a bunch of macaques.
I remember the story. Mitch stopped as a guy. He was working on one of the light posts. He was in one of those baskets. He said, "Hey!" And he was like shocked, turned around. He's like, "What? Put the lock on! He's like, "This guy's fucked up, man." But yeah, that was the last time. And then last tournament wasn't a 7-0, but I think it was 4-1 or 3. What was the score?
It's Hungary 3-0.
Yeah, it was 3-0. And again, that game even it was we see what we see. So again, that just makes my point stronger. That foundation's not lit. That culture's not lit to win a World Cup.
Oh, Jesus. All right, guys. Well, we're well past the hour mark. We've kind of gone on rambling about the same thing. But next game on Monday against Uruguay. It's going to be a big game for the Seleção. Obviously, we need to try to get the 3 points.
Not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. Uruguay,
like this,
Uruguay looked. I mean, they didn't beat South Korea today, but we saw flashes of what they can do. So we're gonna see We will come to you guys next Monday. Well, this coming Monday, right after the game, we'll do another podcast to kind of review the game against Uruguay.
Yeah.
And we'll see, man.
100%. I appreciate all you guys tuning in.
Yeah, guys.
I really appreciate it. We love you guys. You guys are what we do this for. Obviously, Portugal. I really appreciate it. Nothing but love. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that fucking subscribe button, boys.
And
It's a
back
long,
to the
long road ahead. A lot of
back
stress.
to the positivity vibes. Hoje foi uma vitória sofrida, but we got the 3 points. Foi o mais importante. Agora é levantar a cabeça and let's try to go for the other 3 points.
Cheers, boys.
And let's go. Força Portugal.
Força Portugal.
Ciao, guys.